Hello and welcome to Moneylife. This is Sucheta Dalal. Today we are going to talk about something that all of us probably looked at, heard, it resonated with us since Sunday evening when we heard about the absolutely tragic, untimely and needless death of Cyrus Mistry. He's just 54, affable billionaire, dies in a road accident along with his friend Jahangir Pundole, who was a national squash champion, and two others who are in hospital in a critical condition. Ever since Sunday night when this tragedy occurred, I'm sure you, like me and everyone else, have been inundated with lectures on the importance of wearing a seatbelt, especially when you are sitting in the back seat of a car, or even when you're sitting in the back seat of a car. Now, wearing a seatbelt is important. All of us need to do it. Most of us are careless about back seats. So let's take that as given, okay? No arguments about it. Seatbelts are good. But are seatbelts the only answer to this horrific tragedy? Or are we deluding ourselves and letting the government off the hook for bad roads and terrible conditions that have led to the accident? Yes, he did not wear a seatbelt. Does that mean the two people who survived got away lightly? Does it stop accidents? Absolutely not. So let's not get carried away by the noise that you're hearing from the media and television, and let's focus on what is important to us. We have lost an important life. Most of the time in India, when something as tragic as this happens, there is enormous pressure on the government. There is debate, there is discussion. Let's not allow these deaths to go in vain by saying seatbelt is the answer, and once we have it, that's the end of the story, because that is what the government wants to do. They want to make it mandatory, they want to fine you, they want to ensure that seatbelts make a noise, and they will do nothing about bad road conditions. I'm going to discuss a bigger issue here, which everybody seems to be losing sight of in the barrage of lectures about seatbelts. Okay, we have endless coverage, but not enough facts. Now, let's look at things from the beginning. India has been building expensive highways, expressways, and super expressways for the last 20 years. There are tens of thousands of kilometers of roads that are being built, which has never happened. In fact, for the first 50 years since independence, we used to joke that we were living on British-built roads and haven't added a kilometer. Now, we have added, under the National Highway Development Program, 55,528 kilometers since the year 2000. At this point of time, 12,000 kilometers of highways are in different stages of being constructed or upgraded. Anywhere you look, there are super highways. The Union Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari wants to connect Bombay and Delhi, wants to connect different parts of the country. Another Chief Minister wants to connect Nagpur and Bombay. It is endless. How safe are these roads? Are they making travel better? Now let's look at the Mumbai-Ahmedabad highway on which Cyrus Mistry was traveling coming back from Udwada. Those who use this road regularly are already vocal about how dangerous it is, that the road design is faulty. There are a number of deaths happening at the very spot where the car that Mr. Mistry was traveling in hit the corner of something that was jutting out. I'm going to come to that in an instance, the one that caused death. Now, preliminary investigations by a forensic team have already confirmed that there is a design flaw in the road. This busy highway is also badly maintained. It's riddled with potholes. There is rampant traffic indiscipline. People have no choice but to move from the left to overtake trucks which are blocking the roads. And this is not limited to this highway. The number of accident deaths in India is stupendously high. In fact, according to the National Crime Bureau records in 2020, this figure is important because after that we had the COVID and obviously numbers went down because you were locked up at home. 150,000 people die on Indian roads every year, of which 50,000 are on the national highways alone. Now, the government's response to all of this, you would have noticed, is to create a bunch of rules that punish us, people who drive in cars. right? Because we are so easy to punish. We, the middle class, don't resist. So seatbelts, we have the rules for a long time, decades, we don't follow them. Seatbelts now, the back seat, yes, install the speed guns and high-speed cameras. So you catch people who are speeding. Who are you catching? You're catching the cars. Are they the only ones responsible? Is speeding the only thing responsible for accidents? No. In fact, most often, completely rickety trucks blocking 2 and 3 lanes are the ones who are causing problems. Even when they park on the side of the road, they don't have parking lights, you can't see their numbers, they're overloaded, they can't move at more than 20 kilometers an hour. And when 2 of them are trying to overtake each other, you know the kind of block and pile up this can create. So, cameras are not capturing them. There's no effort to examine accidents through the prism of scientific road safety studies. There are plenty of experts in India. These studies have been done in India. They have come up with the root cause of accidents. So let me quote one of them. So writing for the Transport and Communications Bulletin of Asia and Pacific, this is a link that we are showing you here. Atul Kumar has identified 3 major causes for road crashes in India. Now, he says inadequate safety measures for vulnerable road users, that's people who drive in cars and SUVs, inadequate enforcement of traffic rules, this applies to cities and highways, lack of awareness even of rules. You know how licenses in India are available and can be bought without even knowing driving, just by applying to a driving school. More importantly, inadequate engineering measures while upgrading highways. In fact, he says the problem is with the design and geometry of the roads and highways, and it is the most important element of road design. So faulty road design and engineering creates, as he calls it, black spots. These are black spots where high accidents happen, and that's why they're called black spots. This clearly applied to that particular spot where Cyrus Mistry's car, or the car he was traveling in, met with an accident on the Mumbai-Ahmedabad highway and ended his life. Now, this is again not rocket science. The Mumbai newspaper Midday has already said that there has been a big noise about it, which has been ignored forever. Typical. So, they quote Mr. Harbans Singh Nande. He is a part of the All India Vahan Chalak Malak Mahasangh, which is a organized body of what we call vulnerable users or car owners, vehicle owners, even commercial vehicles. He has very specifically said that faulty design in that particular stretch where the accident occurred is a problem. In fact, let's quote him. He says, and I'm quoting, the width of the southbound lane at Charoti flyover is 10.50 meters. It suddenly narrows to 7 meters on the bridge, which is built on the Surya River. Now, what kind of road engineering is this? He wants to know. So 3 lanes suddenly narrow to 2. There are photographs, there are pictures to show how bad it is. The lane is also serpentine, so that the person behind the wheel who thinks that the 3-way lane is continuing doesn't know that there is a sudden obstruction which the car went and banged against. This is a L-shaped death trap, he calls it, on which Anita Pandol, who was driving the car, absolutely went and crashed. So he says a new driver ends up misjudging this black spot. Another user, Bhushan Maplekar, he said, again, traveling on the same road, he says in a social media post that the specific stretch over the Surya River suddenly turns into 2 narrow bridges with lanes that suddenly narrow down. There's no signage, no warning, which should be well ahead to let people slow down and understand this is danger. The road narrows down. This is so typical all over the world. It is also present on the Mumbai-Pune Expressway or some of our better expressways. But who cares about maintenance in India, right? So Mr. Nandade says that he told Midday that he has written repeatedly to the National Highway Authority, NHAI. He's filed RTI applications. He does not even get a response. This is how callous we are. And yet the minister is all over the place talking about things. Has he mentioned any of this? Not once. If you bother like a journalist to read all the quotations, not one word. In fact, Mr. Nitin Gadkari in media interviews after Cyrus Mistry's demise has talked about the usual stuff. Impose a fine, have bleepers which will, not go off until you fasten a rear seat belt. His usual A solution to everything is more airbags, but he will not talk about road maintenance, where the government is collecting heavy tolls from us. The tolls keep increasing and we are paying for it. We are standing in long queues. FASTag doesn't work. Anytime you're out on a weekend, you wait in a kilometer-long queue just to pay the toll to drive, the privilege of driving on badly maintained roads. In fact, speaking, Mr. Gadkari said something extraordinarily shocking. Has it created any noise in the media? I don't think people even got what he's saying. So let me repeat what he says. He was speaking on 6th September, again after this accident, at the National Convention of Civil Engineers. And he says he attributes road accidents to faulty project reports. In fact, he says detailed project reports prepared by companies are worst and are responsible for road accidents in the country. And he wants training programs for companies on how to write detailed project reports. Hello? This man is where the buck stops. He's the minister. He's allowing these faulty detailed project reports, leading to construction with faulty design, leading to accidents that kill people who are close to us. We are not outraged about this. We are going on and on about seat belts as though that's the beginning and end of the problem. In fact, this stunning admission from a top minister, which has been blandly reported by the media, should have caused shock and dismay. After all, it is his ministry that is clearing tens of thousands of kilometers of roads with these faulty designs, and we are paying a toll on it. What can be more amazing, and what shows the tolerance of Indians more than this? Now, don't you think that Mr. Gadkari's response to Cyrus Mistry's death should have been vastly different? As a minister, he should have ordered a complete safety audit, not just of the Mumbai-Ahmedabad highway, but all our major highways. He should have announced a time-bound program to correct faulty design, faulty lighting, signage, sudden embankments, bad patchy repairs that happen even on the expressway where your car jumps as though on a speed breaker. Ensure that there is signage. Again, Mumbai-Ahmedabad being an example. But no, those are difficult things to do. There is always a fix, which is why trucks which cannot even take the load that they're doing, which are badly maintained, are allowed on roads. What is easy to do? Make seatbelts mandatory, increase fines, impose fines because we pay them. What he has to do, which is difficult, he won't talk about. We the people, and I include me as a person and media in this, we the people allow him to get away with it. An important reason why drivers break the rules, as I said before, and overtake from the left is overloaded trucks which can barely move even at 20 kilometers per hour. They block multiple lanes. So if you do not move and find a way around them, there will be a pile-up and a bigger embarrassment about the state of Indian highways. It is because people break the rules, they find a way to go around them, go from the shoulder, go from the left bank, do things that should not be done, that things at least keep moving. As for bad lighting, I mean, we've seen accidents that happen late in the night or very early in the morning, even on the expressway. Nobody wants to investigate in detail. We've had an MLA who lost his life recently. But hey, it is so easy to say the driver is always at fault. Mr. Gadkari has to use technology. Now, speed guns and cameras, if they can catch a car which is going at 130 kilometers, get your face and your number plate. They also get trucks which are onto the fast lanes, which are driving slowly, which are breaking the rules. Move them to the side at the next toll gate. Punish them, get them off the roads, because they are the ones who cause accidents. What about the number of them who break down on the highway? They are unfit. You are allowing them to come there and create accidents. This is what speed cameras can be used for. They're not supposed to catch only people in cars and high-end cars. Mr. Gadkari is also silent about city roads. I mean, the less you talk about city roads, the better. Because two-wheelers have absolutely no rules. They jump signals with impunity. There are 3 or 4 people traveling, their children at the back with absolutely no seatbelts. Are their lives not important? Are they less important? Or because it's going to be difficult to find them, you don't care whether they meet with accidents and die? Coming to seatbelts, let me read something which a friend has sent me after reading a column that I wrote on this. He says, in 1968, the US government mandated that every new car should have seatbelts. In 1975, Sam Peltzman, who was an economist in the University of Chicago, did a study and found that 0 lives had been saved in those first few years after seatbelts were made mandatory. He argued that people who were wearing seatbelts drove more aggressively, undoing the benefits of seatbelts. Now, I'm not for a moment negating the benefits of seatbelts. Yes, we should wear them, but that is just a small thing which we can do at our end because our lives are important. There is a lot more that the government has to do, the Minister of Transport has to do to make roads safe, to eliminate potholes, to ensure maintenance, stop the corruption, and we should not let him off. Let this tragedy not go in vain. Let us raise our voice and demand time-bound action, not just on the Mumbai-Ahmedabad highway, but every single highway in India. 1.5 lakh lives lost is not a joke. If you agree, please share this video and subscribe to us. Thank you.